I'm Dr. John. This is your Maintenance Minute, continuing our discussion of the 32 storeroom processes. And we're down to item substitution. Now, this is very interesting. Probably not a process that you guys have. It's definitely a practice that you've actually used. But again, if it's not a formal process, are we really doing it the best way possible? I first came across this process as one of the 32 when I was doing some work in the oil and gas business and understood how important it was for us to give some pre-thought or to plan for contingencies. If something were to happen and we didn't have a part, is there anything around here that we can use sort of formally and think about how to make it work? And is that something we can, sort of plan for and train our crews? Hey, look, if you don't have this, you can use this. It's almost like a survival skill, if you will. So it really is predicated on knowing what you have. And think about this idea of substituting a part for another part, but not doing it in a crisis situation, not doing it in the spur of the moment, but really setting down and asking what really puts us at risk or jeopardizes our ability to safely produce a quality product. If we were to lose this and we kind of ran out or we didn't have the spare part, is there something else around here? It's kind of a MacGyver thing, I guess. Is there something else that we could possibly use that'll do the same thing, right? Or at least get us along. And then are there management of change implications? Is this something we can sort of agree to beforehand? Again, it's not 2 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday morning. We're trying to get people to give us the okay. We've actually sat down in a very calm, non-crisis, the urgent situation doesn't exist. We're just a bunch of smart people sitting around thinking about, can we use this instead of this? Let me give you an example. So I was using this in an earlier Dr. John's Maintenance Minute, but here's my stapler right from my desk. So you guys know what a stapler does, right? It puts staples and holds pages together. But if I don't have any staples, or if I didn't have a stapler, what else could I possibly use, right? How about I use one of these? A paper clip, right? I don't know if you guys can see this. This is a paper clip. A paper clip does the same kind of thing, right? It doesn't, the papers can kind of fall out from the paper clip, right? It doesn't hold them like a staple does. But in a pinch, I could actually use a paper clip instead of a staple. Maybe if there's sometimes I'd rather have a paper clip than a staple because I don't want to punch holes in it. It's an important document or something like that. I don't want holes to be punched in it. If I got to copy it or something like that, I don't want these holes to show up. But this is a real opportunity for us. This is such an interesting and such a unique process that you absolutely got to have one, right? You got to have this process written down where we sit down and talk about the components that put us necessarily at risk, things that we're having trouble getting. Is there anything around here we could possibly use? How would we use that? What kind of training can we provide the off shifts so everybody knows, hey, look, if that pump goes out, you can use this pump, but here's what you got to do first, right? We can create the management of change documentation. We can all sit down, talk about it, say that's our contingency plan based on what we actually have. And then also think about if you're in a corporation, you may not have the part that you need, and your sister plant may not have the part either, but they have something that could be considered a usable substitute, at least to get you by officially, formally. Again, we don't want to jeopardize safety, definitely not our product quality, but we can keep the facility running. This is a very, very high level storeroom process. I would encourage you to take a look at this and make it part of your formal practice where we go through from time to time and we judge the kind of things that can be substituted for other kinds of things, right? Very important. I would encourage you guys to sit down and talk about this again when it's not a crisis situation. I'm Dr. John, and this has been your Maintenance Minute.